Hi, it's Joe from Joe's Country Junction, and I'm here to do the last tutorial on the Freeform alphabet letters. I've been chugging along with you week by week. Well, I'm trying to do week by week, but we've been making the ABC letters for the quilt you see behind me. You can see the Freeform letters along the back here, and we've been working on those, trying to get all the way through to the end of the alphabet. Last week, or last video, I guess I should say, because I really filmed it only a few days ago, I left you off with the letter W. And so we just have X, Y, and Z to do. Unfortunately, those are a couple of the harder letters, but we'll manage to get through them today as we work our way through the end of the alphabet. I have X here set up, ready to go. To do this, my best guess is to tell you is to cut one long piece here, cut a bigger square, and then cut it in diagonal this way and cut it in diagonal this way, and then put the pieces in here like this. Does that make sense? And then cut a longer strip and have the longer, and then cut it in half. Half of it goes on this side here, and half of it goes on this side here. So I'm really excited to be chugging away to the end of the alphabet here with you today. So my sewing room's all set up, ready to go. I have an iron over here. Oh, no, it's not ready to go. I have to plug my iron in, so just a second, I'll do that. But I have my sewing machine here, and I have a garbage can here. I have my trusty scissors that a blog reader sent to me, which I so much appreciate. It's awesome scissors, and I'm very happy to be having it and being able to use it. And I have a can of pop. I am a Sunkist Zero girl. That's the main pop I drank, but yeah. So I should be ready to go. I was up early and trying to get things done today so that I could film a video with you. And I'm just going to take a second here, and I am going to break to plug my iron in. So just a second. Okay, the iron's plugged in and I'm ready to go. So we're going to start out by, I have this piece here. And what we're going to do is we're going to sew these two to this, and then we're going to sew these two to this, and then we're going to sew those to the big long center section. So here we go. And my dog Izzy is up here with us today, and she, I'm hoping she can make it through the video because she is not real good in the sewing room yet. She tries, but okay, I'm going to lay this back on here. So I have this sewn together like this. I'm going to lay this back on here so that I make sure I get the next triangle piece oriented right. So I know I need to fold this one over like this, and this will go on here. I was telling you my foster dog Izzy isn't used to being in my sewing room. I guess she's not my foster dog anymore. She's my dog because I decided to keep her. She's been a great addition to the family. However, she still does have quite a bit of puppy in her. So I'm working and dealing with that a little bit. You can see here my corner is a little bit wonky. We'll deal with that later. Right now we just need it together, and I've got strings. So now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to fold this over like this, and then I'll be sewing from here down here. Well, Izzy happens to be 6 months old, and Izzy, previous to her living here with me, she had never been an inside dog at all, and she was 5 months old when I got her. She's just coming up to 6 months now. This piece goes here, so I'm going to flip that over. So she's coming up on 6 months now, but I'm finding that she's doing great with house training. I think we had 2 accidents in the last week. That's not bad. And I really attribute those to too much excitement here in the house, because they happened when I had company here. If it's just me and the dogs, it's not a problem at all. But if all my little grandkids get around here, then it gets to be a little bit more challenging. So I ironed those, And now here we are with our X. We have these ironed together. We have these ironed together. So now we're gonna start adding these to that long string piece. So Izzy comes upstairs, and I have to make sure that I have all of the bedroom doors shut, because I just never know what she's gonna find on the floor in a bedroom, or if like one of the grandkids was here and was napping upstairs, I don't know if she is going to you know, grab a blanket out of their crib or something like that. So she's been making life challenging, but it's a good kind of challenge. So this is together like this. I'm gonna lay this down here, and then now my trick is to make sure I lay this so that this is gonna line up. So I've got to be careful how that gets added onto there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but of course we want it to look pretty good. So something that I might do is to grab a pen, and I might try to, you know, go like this to make sure I can line that up the best I can. And we're just gonna go for it. I hope by now, if you've been sewing along with me, you've accepted that things can be a little wonky or different as you're sewing these letters. Okay, we kind of got some wonkiness going on here, so we have to decide what we're going to do to try to quote unquote clean it up. So it'll just take some time with the scissors here. I'm just going to take my scissors and cut right down the side, and I'm going to cut across. We'll just see what we can do with it. Try to whip it into shape a little bit. Okay. Well, this is a little better. You can see here, I've got this corner that's a little odd. I think I'm just going to take a little triangle piece and add a little triangle to that corner. This is kind of how I like to make these letters. I like to sew so far and then make a decision, and then sew and then make a decision. And that way I can, oh, I actually like that. You can see how that looks in this upper corner. I think I'm just going to add a piece to all of the corners. So I just have a couple triangles down here. I'm just going to add those triangles to the corner. It's going to give them a little bit of a different look, but I think I'm going to like it. And again, I'm using a mixture of background fabrics. I don't keep the same print in each block. You are certainly welcome to do that if you want to do that. If you want to have all the prints or the backgrounds in each block the same, you can do that. I'm sewing mine with shirts. Again, you don't need to, you don't have to sew with shirts. These blocks are easily done with any type of fabric. Okay, so this is what we have right now. I'm going to trim these corners up a little bit. And I'm feeling better about this block already. Oops. There. Okay, so this is what I have right now. And I'm going to add a top and a bottom strip to it, and then I'll add one piece on the side. And here's one that will work for here. If you've been following along with me, I've been running a little piece of fabric in between each of the passes I make with the sewing machine. And I like to do that because it keeps my thread all together. I don't have to worry about the thread releasing and making unthreading the machine or making a knot. This has worked really well for me. And normally if I was sewing and I wasn't doing a video, I would be piecing something else through there. Like maybe I would be having just a plain charm pack quilt on the go, and I would do those charm squares and sew those together. Or I always have something that I'm sewing on in between projects. So, okay, we're this far. I've got borders on two sides. I'm going to put one border on the remaining side, or the one more of the sides. Okay, see if I can find a long strip in here. Yep, this is a good one. It just so happens to match the other strips I had. I was extra excited to film this video because I know that it's the last one showing you how to make the letters, but don't worry, I do have plans for more videos to show more about how to make this quilt because I've had such a wonderful response to it. So here's my X, and I will be showing videos how to make the center blocks. I'll be showing a video how to straighten out and trim the blocks that we've made. I've got lots planned for you so that you will be able, by the time you're done seeing videos, be able to make the quilt. That's behind me. So that was the letter X. So if I know my alphabet right, Y is the next letter we're going to be working on. And so I'll try to get some pieces laid out for that here. I need run a little iron on this one. Okay. Looks like my dogs are finally settling down. They have dog beds right down here. I always keep a dog bed in the sewing room so that they can come up and be up here with me while I sew. And I think it encourages them to not wreak so much havoc in the sewing room while I'm up here and distracted doing some sewing. So, okay, I'm starting to get things lined up. So when we make this letter, we're going to be using some of the same techniques that we used when we made an N, an M, a W, a V, some of those, because a Y is really just a V with a stem on it. So what I'm going to start out with is I'm going to sew this piece to here, and then this piece will be sewn onto here, and then we'll work with these pieces on the side. So this was a triangle piece. This is just long straight pieces. What I had done is I cut a rectangle, and then I cut from the tip down, and that piece is right here. And I cut from the tip again down, and that piece is right there. And that'll give us the angles we need. But I like to extend it out a little bit, so I put an extender piece right here, and we'll be doing that shortly. So I'm going to start out with working from the center out. I'm not going to worry about trimming anything yet. So I have this much done. I'm going to lay this back on here, and I'm going to orientate it so that I make sure that I have a tail on the bottom and a tail at the top as I sew this on. So I'm going to turn this like this, flip that over, and then I'll be sewing from up here to down here. Oops. This piece flipped off and onto my shirt while I was chatting. Okay, I'm getting that oriented. Oops. Oh, I'm out of thread. So I should have noticed that earlier, but I didn't. Okay. I think I have some bobbins already filled here, so that's awesome. Okay, I've told you before that I hate putting the bobbin in this machine. Every time I do, I either don't get the bobbin in right, or so I just always have to remember that on this machine. And I think I was told on all machines that when you pull the thread, that the bobbin needs to turn counterclockwise. Okay, so I think that's in. Let's see if we can make it go. Hey, this is working pretty good. Some of these machines that are in cabinet, I have a little bit more trouble with them because my fingers are so chunky to get my bobbin back into the machine. So it's a chubby finger girl problem. Okay, looks like we're back in business and our bobbin's going, so that's good to know. And see, this is why I keep that thing, because I hate going back and having to deal with all these threads, and I just feel like it wastes time. And so instead I sew over that little piece. And I found that when it comes time to ironing my quilts at the end, if I use a little piece like this, or if I use a piece to feed through rather than always dealing with threads, that I have less threads in my quilt when it comes time to trim things up. So where are we at here? I'm going to trim this. I'm going to trim the top too. I think I can trim that safely now. I'll probably have to trim again, but for now we got to start. So here's where we have, it's really just a mini V right now. And I need to connect it up with the other pieces that are here. So I'm going to add this piece to this. I'm going to add this piece to this. And then we'll add those to the V part of the Y that we already made. I am just going to feed this piece through at the same time. As long as we are doing the same thing to each side, I think we can safely do that. Okay, I'm going to trim these off and iron. And then I'll show you how I trim those off. Oops. My ironing wasn't the best there. Okay, so what we want to do is keep with the angle we already have started. So I'm going to just trim this section off right here like that. And I'm going to trim that side. And there you can see that we just extended that angle out. And that one will go up here. And I'm going to do the same thing to this side. I'm just going to trim to keep the angle in the same path that it was already on. Okay, so we have that on that side, that on that side, and we're just going to add them now to that V we already have created. When my husband was living, he always told me that these were the favorite kind of quilts that I made, were these scrappy crumb quilts, because he said that he thought that that was more the true meaning of what quilting is to use up every little piece. So we have this, and now we're going to take and add this one to this side. Slide that up a little bit. I've made several of these crumb quilts. I made one with using Civil War fabrics, which that was really fun, or reproduction fabrics. I've made several with shirts. I think this is, I've made 2 for grandsons, 1 for a granddaughter, and 1 for a daughter. So this is our V at the top, and we've got the side pieces on now. You can see those added pieces that we added onto there on each of the sides. Now we just need to work here, and this is their centerpiece of the Y, and we'll add these 2 pieces to each side of the Y of the stem. One of my very favorite reasons why I love to make this type of quilt is simply because I don't have to sit and cut out the quilt first, because I just cut the quilt out as I go. And that just was very appealing to me. I feel like I just skip a step. Although sewing like this is a lot. More time consuming, because I do have to stop and trim and cut. But still, I just feel like I get to the fun part quicker, because piecing is probably my favorite part of quilting. Okay, I'm going to trim these pieces off because they were too long. I'm going to take this to the Y, see what we think. This is what we have. So I'm going to sew that together like that, and we're probably going to be doing some trimming afterwards. Right now, I think the Y is going to be a little bit too tall, so we'll just sew it together like this first, and then we'll do an assessment after that. So here's how the Y is looking. He's a little wonky, but that's okay. I do think it's a little bit too tall, so I'm just going to take my scissors and cut here. I think I'm going to cut a little bit off the top too. And cut here. So I'm going with this for my Y instead. See, it's how it's a little bit shorter. And I'll save this piece so it might be used for something else later. And now I just have to add a top and bottom piece to this. So I'll dig in my scraps here, see what I can come up with. Oh, here's a piece that should work. Yeah, we're going to put this on the side. Okay, I'm trimming this up right away so that I have a triangle for later. Oh, something happened. Don't have bobbin thread. I wonder what that's about. Well, we'll just fix it. See if I can get this bobbin in right. Nope, wrong way. There, now it's going counterclockwise. I don't really know why that happened, but it just does sometimes. It happens to me just like it happens to all of you. Okay, now we should be in business again. Here we go. I've been kind of experimenting with things. Now that I'm doing more videos, I've been using my phone to film the videos, and that's been going okay. But recently, I've kind of ran into a little bit more and more trouble with it as the videos won't load very quickly. So last week, or last video, I had to wait overnight for my video to download from my phone to my computer. And that was, it's painful and slow. And it makes me feel sad because I can't plan out the things I need to do as quickly because I'm worrying about a video loading. or not loading, or it doesn't work into my daughter Callissa's time frame because she's the one that does my video editing. So if it doesn't work into her time frame, then you all don't see it as quickly. And I'm waiting around for my videos to load. So hopefully this one will load a little better. And in light of that, I am actually going to do a little break here in between the two letters, or in between this last letter, in hopes that the videos will load a little quicker. So I'm going to show you the Y, and then I'm going to take a quick little break. Here's the Y. So we have X and Y, woohoo! And I'm going to take a break so that these videos will load, and I'll be right back to do the Z. Okay, I'm back. It's time to do our letter Z. And I'm so excited. We're right at the end of the alphabet. It's going to be so awesome to have these done. So I'm starting out. I've got to find some fabrics so that we can make that last letter. Okay, I'm going to cut kind of a longer piece for the angle. That's kind of the rule, is always to cut that like too long. And then I'm going to take a rectangle. I have one here, and I'm going to cut from corner to corner, and that will be what we need for the inside of the Z. Then I'm going to cut 2 strips. Looks like I have one here. And let's see if we got another one. One here. So I've got to turn this around and look at it myself to make sure I've got the Z going. And see, I have the Z going the opposite direction. Can you see that? So that's why this is so tricky to do these letters sometimes, is that you have to make sure and double check that they're oriented the right way. Which this is an easy enough fix. This is what happened to me when I did my letter S. Does that look better? Let me look at it. Okay, because I'm looking at it, when I'm showing it to you like this, I'm looking at it upside down. So, and then I see it in the camera, and when I see it in the camera, it's backwards. So it's kind of a real challenge for me between looking at this upside down and seeing it in the camera. But it looks like it'll work. And that's all that we care about right now. So again, we're going to work from the inside and then work out. So this is going to be sewn to this. This is going to be sewn to that. And then we'll add the top and bottom pieces. And Izzy, no. Izzy's right behind me, and she was chewing stuff she shouldn't be chewing. Yes. Oh. I thought to put her down in her kennel, but I'm going to probably take some time and film the next video right after this one, and to start you out on making some of the inner blocks. And I don't want to have her in the kennel too long. So this is what we have right now. And we're going to add this other piece to that. And I'm going to do this. Flip that over, sew that on. Oh, I'm so happy that we're getting to the end of the alphabet. Okay, so this is what we have right now. And I think that we can safely trim this red part. Or I'm not, yeah. We can safely trim it up. That's what I mean to say. Okay. I think I'm going to trim a little extra off. Okay. I got to make sure I put this in the right way. Okay. Is that looking like a Z? Nope. There. That way is looking like a Z. Don't be surprised if this happens to you too. I remember the first time I did this, I was just like so confused over which direction things should go. So, okay. I think our Z is going to end up being a shorter letter, which is totally okay. Oops. I had someone ask me about my little felt board because they thought about just using it in their sewing room to lay blocks out on it, and it would be a great idea to. It is from feltfantasies.com is where it's from, and it actually flips out like this and has a pocket here. It's really made for people who are doing story time or felt board activities with kids in childcare, because you can stand it up like this, or you can do what I've been doing. I happen to be lucky enough to have purchased it from the thrift store, and I was getting ready to do these videos, and I wanted to have something that I could hold up to show you, and this just happened to cross through my mind because I do some in-home childcare, mostly for my grandkids now, but I used to do that as a full-time job. And so I had picked that up at the thrift store and just loved it. And so this is what our Z is looking at like right now. So hopefully that's oriented the right way. I had to double check to make sure because, again, I'm seeing it backwards in the camera. So let's add I'm going to trim just a little bit, and then we'll add a top and bottom and some sides to that. It's kind of a funky looking Z, but I think it'll do. I'm actually going to change my mind and make this bottom seam a little bit deeper. I don't like the way that this is coming together right here, because once I sew another piece onto here, that's almost going to not be together. So if I make this, you almost won't notice that this is supposed to be connected to this. So if I make a deeper seam, and then I'll cut off the excess. Right here like this. Then I'll re-iron, and I'll show you. You can see how this has a deeper connection now, and I like that look better. So here we go. We need to find a top and a bottom for this. Yep, that's long enough, but it's kind of wonky, so I'm going to cut this off. Okay, we got a bottom on there. This, we're just going to put a narrow little top on here. And we just have to add the side onto the Z, and then after I iron, we'll do that, and then we'll be done with the alphabet. Yahoo! I got some strings on here I need to pull. Okay, I had told you earlier in an earlier video that the letters that we're working on now, the X, Y, and the Z work, some of the harder letters to do, and it turns out we got through them pretty easily, I think, today. Okay, I've got another quilt that I'll be doing some of these letters with when I get to it on my UFO list, because I have a quilt that I'm gonna be finishing for my son-in-law Craig, and I'll be doing some of these letters. So there's the Z. So today we tackled the X, the Y, and the Z. So next time that we're together, I'm not sure if I'm going to start showing you how to do some of the inner blocks, or if I'll be showing you how to connect some blocks together. I did take a little bit of time, and I have a section of blocks trimmed in together just so that you can see, give you an idea of what they're going to start looking like when they're all together. This is A, B, C, D, E, and F. And you can see I've added some other little doodads in between the letters just to give it a little bit more interest. And so I think in the next video, we'll probably be doing probably some of those doodads. Probably do some flying geese, and probably show you how to do a star block. And that will get us a little bit further down the road to when we want to start getting the border pieces together and sewing the ABC letters together. So I am so appreciative that you joined me here in my sewing room today. It's nice to have someone to sew along with, even if it's me and I don't see you. I hope that you're watching my videos while you're sewing, or watching my videos while you're doing some cross stitching or something fun like that. I'm so glad that I can join you in your home today. I hope you have a good day, and I will catch you later. Bye.